Dream a little dream of me. Welcome, kindreds. It's Jessica TheStoryWitch, and this is my bullet journal setup for December 2020. I'm sorry that I did not share my November setup. It just all kind of happened a bit quickly. If you've been following my videos, you know that we've been having work done in the house, which is pretty much finished now. Yay! I have a kitchen I can cook in again. In fact, it's really, really beautiful, and I feel really, really lucky and blessed because, you know, let's be honest, this year has been a bit of a shit bag, and I think we're all going to be looking forward to getting to the end of it, really. Although, you know, we don't know yet what is going to be facing us next year. But yeah, maybe let's not talk about that just now. So for this setup, I went with a kind of, I suppose like a kind of winter foliage kind of vibe. I pulled out a few bits and pieces from like the diaries and things that I usually use. I also went through my little stash of like ephemera to find some like little bits and pieces that tied in with those sort of colours, generally kind of silvery greys and greens. And as you will see as we go through, I also make lots of mistakes. I just hadn't really like thought out how I wanted to do it beforehand, and was just kind of winging it, which is cool, you know, I like to do it like that. But then, you know, as I was looking back on it, I'm like, no, that looks really grim. Like, for example, this writing that I am doing now. And later on, you'll see that I actually decide to cover this up with a little piece from the Celtic Wisdom and Folklore diary. So, yeah. If you are interested in ways to cover up mistakes in your bullet journal, then you might find this video helpful. And also, I think that's one of the reasons why I share these videos as well, is that because I love my journal, and you know, I'm not always happy with everything that goes in it, and I'm okay with that. Like, I know some people who are so kind of crippled with worry about it that they won't even start a journal, and I totally understand that. I can understand where people are coming from with that. Or I also know people who like will start journals and then they'll do some gorgeous pages, and then not too long into it they might make what they see as a mistake and then never go back to it again. And I think, you know, not to be too kind of over the top about it, but I feel like persisting with the journal is a bit like persisting with everything in life. It's like, if you kind of just put your head down, and not even your head down, you know, like, if still being aware of other things around you, and not, you can be open about whether you're happy with things or not happy with things, but just getting on with it. And like, that's another beautiful thing about the journal, is when you feel like you have cocked up, then there's always the option of sticking something over it. Or, you know, if it's a real big disaster, then you can just turn the page and start another one. And I really feel like that is a metaphor for our lives as well. You know, it's like every day is a new day, and especially this year, it feels like next year, you know, the people around me here lots of people have got their Christmas decorations and things up already, and people are keen to see out the end of this year, I think, and to have something to look forward to. So we haven't got our decorations up yet because we are still doing decorational type stuff in the house, as in like painting. You might have noticed my hands are slightly tinged with green in the video. I tried to paint, I had a gorgeous 3-piece suite off my nan, which she'd had for like 20 years, and she gave it to us because she wanted a new one. And I painted the chairs in this gorgeous kind of chocolatey brown colour, and I suppose kind of tanny brown colour, and I was really happy with them. I bought like this special leather paint, and I thought, oh, I know, I'm going to paint the sofa too, but I couldn't get the colour that I wanted in the same paint that I'd used for the chairs, and so I ended up getting this like leather dye stuff, and it was a complete nightmare to use. I basically had to like sponge it all off, and I just noticed this morning that my little boy had been sitting on the sofa, and I thought it was all good and sweet and sealed and finished, and I noticed that his trousers that he was sitting on the sofa on yesterday have got a slightly green tinge to them, so clearly it is not quite right. So yeah, my hand's also green, even though it's been over a week now since I painted it, but in the kind of creases of my gnarly bits of my hands, I have got that green dye. So good times. We are going to be getting a new like a big sofa for the living room at some point next year, but like with money and time coming up to Christmas now, we wouldn't get one in time for Christmas anyway. We're going to make the best of what we've got, which, you know, that's always a good lesson, isn't it? So yeah, here is another little bit that I do and then end up covering it up because I didn't like what I did with the stencil. And I always forget about the stencils. It's something that I do use, and I did use a different stencil to kind of go over it. So I was like, I am going to use the stencil this time. I pulled them out today to use, and I'm going to use them. So yeah, that's kind of fun to play around with. And I really like, I feel like my lettering has got a little bit less good because I haven't been using the kind of brush lettering so much. I've been doing a lot of just like kind of scribbly journaling, getting notes down, getting thoughts down into my journal. And I did start a new journal just before the end of October. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do next year now, whether I'm going to, like, I don't think I'm going to have finished this journal before I start, you know, before the new year, because I'm just looking now to check. I think I'm on like page 85 I do up to in this video. And there are a couple of things in the back, but not loads, because I didn't copy loads of things over into the back. So there's 250 pages in these Leuchtturm journals, and so there's no way that I'm gonna fill like 150 pages plus by the end of the year. So I think I'm gonna be starting 2021 in this journal too, which it's weird how before it always seems to have worked out kind of that hasn't happened before. So that's something new that I'm going to be working on. But kind of, you know, that's the thing with bullet journal in a way, is that it doesn't really matter when it starts, but I still don't feel kind of okay with it. So yeah. Oh, and this spread, I was so happy with how this came out. I kind of used my regular moon phase circles that I've been doing for over a year now, probably, I think, but I kind of baubled them up for the festive season. And yeah, these are going to be so cute through the month, just like these little hanging baubles, and so, like, as you can see, so easy to do. It's ridiculously easy, and they look really cute. And I find this is a good amount of space for me to write like what's going on for each day, especially at the moment because there's less stuff. And so this is my finished setup for December. I have this lovely little piece about the kissing bough now, which really fits in, I think, with the theme a lot better than my Misharagfir, which is the Welsh name for December little bit that I did before. My calendar page, which is fairly empty at the moment. I've added a couple of extra little things in to that. I haven't filled in much of my own notes about the astrology yet. I'm going to be doing that. It's still November as I'm recording this at the moment. I'll probably do this on the weekend to kind of get my bearings, because there's a lot of big stuff happening in December. Mainly this great conjunction, which is happening on Yule, which is a really big deal, because these conjunctions of Saturn and Jupiter only happen every 20 years, but this one is actually one that is part of a much bigger cycle, which it's a really big deal, because those planets are then going to be meeting again in the beginning and the very first degree of Aquarius. And like you know, you're all that new agey talk about the age of Aquarius and things like that, but with the things like all the digital technology and stuff, you know, I really do feel like perhaps we're moving into a new air element mode of just operating. So yeah, I think this is going to be a really big deal. So I'm going to be doing some more plans of what I'm actually going to do for you, because the energy is very let's say heavy. I'm not going to be doing any spell work or anything like that, but I might do some divination, or you know, perhaps some sort of like purification, something like that. I'm not sure yet, so I'm going to be using this space to plan that out. My to-do list, my might-do list, and then my December focus. How mental is this? At the beginning of the year, I pulled, well, not at the beginning of the year, just before the beginning of the year, in last year, in 2019, before this year, I do like a wheel of the year spread for the year coming up. So one card for each month. If you'd like to see a bit more about that, I can put a link to it. I've got like a blog post explaining it and like a PDF you can download of the cards of how to do it if you might want to do one for 2021. I've done my 2021 one, but I haven't had a chance to really kind of integrate it yet, so I might share a little bit about that once I have done that. But yeah, look at this card. This was my card for December, which is from the Miriel Tarot. It's the 7 of Discs, which in the Rider-Waite Tarot is like that gardener guy kind of leaning on his spade, looking at his kind of like bushes with the pentacles all on the bushes. And it's kind of like about you know, it can kind of go either way at that point. You can either kind of put your back into it and get on and you can reap the rewards you've sown, but you also need to kind of prepare for the following year, that kind of thing. But in the Miriel Tarot, this card is the Eclipse card, and we've got this eclipse happening, solar eclipse happening in December, and it's also the conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter, which are actually shown together, kind of conjoined on this card, which when I was looking at it, I was just like, oh my god, you know, I feel like there's a lot more info in the book as well about what this card specifically means, the artwork, what she was thinking of with the way this is all kind of panning out. But I think for me, this eclipse, because it came up in my personal Wheel of the Year spread, and also it's obviously like a huge event for everybody on the planet. It's, well, you know, in the solar system, wherever they are, not even just on the planet. So I feel like that sort of a meshing of what's happening in the wider world and my own personal world is going to be really deeply affected by this. So it's something that I really need to focus on. I'm also going to be looking at my word of the year, and I might do another video about that. I don't know, you know, I've got old videos about words and things, but I do have some thoughts, so I might I might do that, especially now it's a bit quieter because we haven't got builders here all the time. Yeah, how my word has kind of gone for this year and what I'm thinking about for next year. I think I have my word for next year already. My Heron Weaver card, which I haven't got that handy now to show you, but yeah, I'm going to be having to think about that, and also just reflecting on my cards for 2020 and my cards for 2021 going forward. So yeah, it's a lot apart from all the kind of like holiday type stuff that usually happens at this time of year. And then how cute, I love this, and I'm so excited to see these going through the month, you know, all my little baubles as I go through, and yeah, I just think it's really sweet. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing my video, and give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Thank you so much for watching. Warmest blessings, and I will see you very soon.